Thank you so much for joining me today on the Community Ledger. Today, we are going to discuss the video that has gone viral of a pro-life activist being sucker punched by someone she was interviewing. Let's go ahead and take a look. Yes, thank you. Thank you so much for joining me today on the Community Ledger. Again, my name is Andrea Banu. If you have not already, please do go ahead and press that subscribe button. So listen, over the weekend, it has been all over social media. A interviewer, actually a pro-life advocate or activist, shall I say, was interviewing this woman on the streets of New York and ended up being sucker punched. Now, I watched the video in its entirety, so I will comment after I give you a brief clip of what happened, but it got really ugly. So let's go ahead and see a snippet of what we're talking about.
I'm not the one who admitted they would be okay with killing babies in foster care and killing children that have been abused.
That's not the point. What I'm saying.
That's really.
What's wrong with you?
You have oh my god. She just punched me in the face. We were just doing a street interview with my camera and everything was fine for over 20 minutes or however long we were filming, and then she just punched me in the face. Oh my god.
Wow. So there you have it. There you see it. That was crazy. Like I said, I watched the video in its entirety and from beginning to end. And, it started off very pleasant, very nice. The conversation of Planned Parenthood came up where the interviewer started discussing the amount of money that Planned Parenthood gets every year. And then she rolled over or went through some statistics in regards to where a lot of that money is going or should be going and isn't. The young lady, as the video progressed, got very, very irritated. And as you see, it went south. There are portions in the video where I said, the interviewer should have known, okay, this is my cue to go ahead and end this because this woman is unhinged. At a certain part in the conversation, the girl being interviewed stated that she felt it was more appropriate for, how can I word this, more appropriate for foster children to be unalived than have them or a mother actually give birth to them and put them up for adoption and they end up in the system. So if you can't abort, then you might as well just unalive them as foster children. So we're talking about like 3-year-olds, 5-year-olds, 12-year-olds, just get rid of them all. And so that was pretty much the turning point in the conversation. I'm going to go ahead and put the link of the original interview in the description so that you can go see it. But it goes left fairly quickly. Now, I do not agree that this lady should have put her hands on the interviewer. I mean, I get discussions get heated, but at the same time, to punch someone in the face is just unacceptable. But nonetheless, they have found the woman, which we already knew that they would because she's all over social media. So she was found and now has issued a bunch of apologies. But you've got a lot of apologists online who feel like it was justified. And so I want you to see this interview on Fox. So that you can see exactly what the Miss Savannah, who is her name, is stating about this actual event. No, I do apologize. What I'm going to do is go ahead and read you what the New York Post says. So once it ended up on the New York Post, I was like, okay, yeah, they're definitely going to find this woman because this is all over social media. I'm going to read to you exactly what they said in this article. Let me go ahead and pull it up. Okay, perfect. Let me go ahead and read a little bit of it. It says here, New York City woman who decked pro-life activist claims she was provoked into violence. She was provoked into violence. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Crazy, crazy. She was provoked into violence. Let me go down. Okay. The woman who socked a pro-life reporter in the face during a filmed interview offered an apology Saturday, but claimed her antagonistic victim goaded her into violence. Brianna Rivers of the Bronx admitted she was wrong for slugging Savannah, a reporter for pro-life advocacy. I can't even speak today. Group Live Action. To Savannah, I sincerely apologize, but cannot sit around and allow you to continue pushing this one-sided narrative. I understand hands being put on someone is never the answer, but throwing rocks and hiding hands is worse, Rivers wrote in a Facebook post. She knows the truth and she needs to release the footage in its entirety. Savannah is a professional antagonist, not a reporter, and the truth will be told. The truth was told. Like, this is crazy. Rivers shared a note accusing Craven of intentionally antagonizing her during their Man on the Street interview in Harlem, in which Craven repeatedly cut the pro-choice Rivers off while she spoke. Rivers also accused Craven of editing the footage to remove what she called relentless antagonization and the moments leading up to the sucker punch. I will not allow my image to be defamed by this woman's actions. Anyone who knows me knows how respectful I am, for real. Okay, I don't even litter. There's no way you believe I'm punching people for disagreeing with my point of view, wrote Rivers, who could not immediately be reached for comment. Craven reported, or I'm assuming that this is Savannah Craven, reported the incident to police and admitted to provoking. She admitted to provoking Rivers. Authorities said Rivers has not been arrested as of Saturday afternoon. The two butted heads during the conversation on the street Thursday about Planned Parenthood and abortion that Craven, 23, was conducting as part of her work for Live Action. And so this is Savannah here. So, you know, Savannah is now saying that she agreed that she provoked the young lady. I don't think she provoked her into actually being punched in the face, but I do agree that she should have backed off. I mean, like I said, you've got to know when enough is enough. And the lady started to feel very uncomfortable with the conversation. It was starting to get heated, and the lady started to turn and walk away, and Savannah continued to go on. And the lady ended up coming back and hitting her in the face. So as a street interviewer, especially in New York City, you should tread lightly, okay? And, you know, abortion is a very hot topic for a lot of people. Me personally, I think Savannah should have refrained from giving her own opinion about the responses that were given. However, you know, she gave her opinion, it got very heated, and someone ended up bloody at the very end. But they've got an actual interview with Miss Savannah that I want to play, because I think this is very, very important, because I haven't even watched this myself. I have not seen Savannah speak on this since it actually occurred. So let's go ahead and get into that as well. Let's take a look.
A reporter for a pro-life organization was out on the street asking people about Planned Parenthood and their stance on abortion. And one of those interviews got out of control. She was punched, the reporter, right in the face.
I think that your point of view is very obstructed, and I think that you just don't understand the magnitude of having a child.
Yeah, well, I'm not the one who admitted they would be okay with killing babies in foster care and killing children that have been abused.
That's not the point. What I'm saying.
That's really.
What's wrong with you?
That reporter for Live Action, Savannah Craven Antao, joins me now. Savannah, oh my goodness, I see the bandages on your forehead. I know you went to the hospital. Let's start with, how are you doing?
I am doing okay, honestly. The accident could have been much worse. I guess it wasn't an accident. It was definitely on purpose. Right. But I'm doing all right. I got some battle scars, but we're here.
Well, I'm curious, stitches? What happened at the hospital?
Yes. So no broken bones, but I did have to get 2 stitches right below my eyebrow. And I've obviously got a very shiny pink eye here.
My goodness, I'm sorry. I'm really sorry that happened to you. I imagine you've been doing some of these man on the street interviews, asking people their opinion, obviously with people that disagree with you as well when it comes to a very heated issue, the issue of abortion. Have you ever seen anything like this? Did this come out of complete left field? Did you know you could be in a situation where something like this could happen?
To other people, I've seen this happen, but it was in a moment where I never thought this was going to happen to me. I live here in the city, and I'm very used to dealing with out of control protesters and abortion supporters, but there was no lead up to this altercation. It was like we were having a conversation and all of a sudden she just lets loose on my face.
And to what do you attribute that, Savannah? I mean, you're having a conversation. It does sound like you're debating each other a little bit, and you didn't see this coming. Like, well, it's hard to explain another person's irrational motivations, but just she'd reached the end of the argument. She had nothing left but physical violence.
It seems so. The left and many abortion supporters, they don't like a differing opinion. They don't like their opinion to be challenged. And I believe what happened here was, like you said, we got to the end of the argument. I was repeating back the things that she had stated to me, and maybe she realized it didn't sound too great. And the truth is, abortion is violence, and it creates violence. And this is what abortion does to people. It hurts women, hurts families, and it hurts babies.
And I think that there is often violence at the end of a very irrational argument. When you realize you have nowhere else to go logically, it's easy and wrong that people reach then for violence. I'm curious, Savannah, what happened there after the cameras went off? Did she leave? Any more interaction with this person?
Yeah, so right after she hit me with a second punch with her phone, which is what split open my eyebrow, my husband, who's also my cameraman, was able to intervene because she had actually stepped back to try to launch back at me.
Oh my God.
And he was able to push her away, and she started to sort of walk and do this weird dance and start laughing as she was walking away. And the cops got there in record time.
Oh, thank you.
About 2 minutes after I called, they were there, and we were driving around in the cop car, trying to see where she was. Unfortunately, we haven't found her. I hope that this interview today helps us find her because we need justice. This is absolutely unacceptable for just having a different opinion than someone.
Absolutely. Well, Savannah, again, sorry for what happened. Glad you're doing okay. And thank you for sharing your story with us today here.
We have found her and she has responded. It does sound like Savannah is going to press charges, which I do think is justified. You know, Savannah's right. You know, just because you have a difference of opinion does not mean you can now move toward violence. Now, I will say this, after watching the interview, I do not agree that Savannah did not see this coming. To me, just my opinion, in the interview, you don't get the impression that she's about to hit you in the face, but you do get the impression that it's time to end this. You do get the impression that, okay, this conversation is getting a little heated. It's time to go ahead and back off, cut the camera off, and let this lady leave before it gets really ugly. And I don't think that Savannah kind of saw those social cues, so to speak, and ended the interview. And because of that, it got ugly. Now, I totally agree that it should never result in violence and hitting someone in the face based on the fact that you just don't agree with what's being said. And, you know, hopefully if she does have to face justice in regards to this, you know, a lot more people will, you know, acquiesce to the fact that just because you don't agree with someone doesn't mean you can just resort to violence and hit them in the face and hit them in the head with a bottle or whatever else you know you want to do because you don't agree with them. But what is your opinion? I mean, do you feel like, you know, this was justified? I read a lot of the comments and a lot of people were on the side of the attacker. They felt like she was being antagonized and she was justified and actually hitting Savannah. And then, you know, a lot of people feel for Savannah and say, as an interviewer, you should always be safe and you should always be in a safe space. You should be able to not be physically accosted when trying to give these interviews. And, you know, agree with supporting her and her safety. But what is your opinion? I would love if you go ahead in the link and watch the video and continue the discussion in the comments. I would love to hear from you. So if you have not already, please do go ahead and subscribe. And again, this is the Community Ledger. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe and watch the next video by clicking right here.